So it's the afternoon, tide's low. Sid and I are gonna go for a beach walk, and then when I get back, there's one kind of big thing that concerns me about all this, move to Vermont, start a coffee roasting business. So we'll discuss that when we get back. Somebody just says to me, "What are you talking about? I need to know." She doesn't need to know. She'll know in a minute. This is a coffee from Ethiopia. I find that the Ethiopian coffees are really quite good. This is a good coffee. It doesn't have any real flavors or anything, but it's just a good cup of coffee. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk to you about. Remember earlier I said I had really one concern, one thing that, I was troubling. And some of you are probably thinking, he has one thing that he's concerned about. Let's see. They're selling a house in the Bahamas, a piece of land, another car, moving back to Vermont, building a brand new house, starting a coffee roasting business, the equipment, the electric, the concrete, driveway, and all this kind of stuff. And he has one thing he's concerned about? Yeah, I do. There's just basically one thing. The rest of that is all very doable. It's all within, pretty much within our controls. But there is one thing that really isn't in our control. And that has to do with the coffee roasting business. Because yes, it's a new adventure and a new, whole new thing. But it's also one of those things that every other time I've worked for myself or business, it's been relatively local. You've been a builder, you build in a local area here. When we did farming, it went to a basic area, geographic area. Everything we've done has been more around where we lived at the time. But I don't see the coffee business as being one of those endeavors that you're going to be able to make a living just on a very, local type level. I just don't see it as being viable. It'd be great if it was, but I don't see it being viable. So where the concern pops up is, how are we going to get other people in other places to help expand our products so that if they like it, they also will tell their friends will sign up for a subscription, and will, be able to expand outward throughout the country. not just be a little local business, which probably tomorrow I'll talk to you about local business, small business, branding, stuff like that, before I forget. But this is, you know, I don't know how to accomplish that in realistic terms. So Sid and I have been thinking about it, you know, how can we get people who are going to be the company's advocates to promote for us? What type of things would we do? What type of things would they have to do? How can we make it as an incentive? You know, there's that saying that if somebody likes something you're doing, they'll tell one person. If they are unhappy, they'll tell what? Seven. So that's great that if one person's liking our coffee and everything else, they're going to tell one, but we need them to be able to tell more. And you know, at one point I had thought of doing something like the easiest way I can describe it would be like a Amway type thing, where they sold, but that has complications too. And some of those complications are taxation for them. Because if they set up something and they're the seller in their state of that coffee, then they're going to be liable for the taxes. Whereas if we, as of right now, ship it out of state, out of Vermont to Arizona or Ohio or wherever, depending on what the laws are, we shouldn't have to deal with all of those states. I'm sure it's coming, by the way, that if you sell anything online, you're going to have to pay whatever state, whatever, even if it's $2. But so what we're trying to figure out is how can we come up with a system that is fair to us, is also fair to people who are helping us out. Oh, that's just the GoPro. And make it, you know, equitable on both sides. You know, we have to make money. We want to reward those people for helping promote and sell our coffee in their geographic area so we can expand to other places without actually going to Arizona for a week and going to all these little places and trying to drum up business kind of thing. So that's my one concern, because if we don't get to something like that, you know, like I can roast coffee 10, 12 hours a day. That's not a problem. I can make coffee that is great tasting. I mean, we've been giving samples away here and to friends and people we know and stuff like that. And it's always been a great hit. Everybody's like, oh, wow, that's wonderful coffee. But I can do that, like I said, 12 hours a day. But if I can't sell it, then it becomes a big problem. And that's, you know, one of the things when you're dealing on a local. I mean, we're going to promote it on this channel. I think we're going to do a Facebook page, probably an Instagram page, but it's still one of those things. How are you going to get enough people throughout the country to purchase your coffee? And some of that is going to be based on, and I think I've said that before, it's going to be based on not so much the coffee, but who we are. And that's tomorrow's talk on branding and all that kind of stuff. It's that you're making a good coffee, that's great. Other people make great coffees too. I have no delusion about that. It's not like I'm going to make the best coffee in the world. No, that's not happening. I know that. I'm going to make good coffee. So why are people going to buy, you know, Roasted's good coffee versus somebody else? Why are they going to, you know, instead of just going to their local coffee shop, picking up a bag and going, why are they going to want to buy from us? Well, hopefully they like who we are, what we have to say, what we're doing, the whole thing. You know, how we deal with people, how we deal with family, how we deal with situations, how we deal with customers, that whole thing, and that helps bring them into that. So once they're in, that's wonderful. If they subscribe, again, wonderful. But how to get people to then spread that out so that their friends, you know, they're going to their friends and going, hey, you got to try this coffee. Go to this website, check it out. I'll give you a cup of coffee to try. He'll send you or try out the sampler or whatever it is. So that's my one concern. The rest of it, the building the house, no, the concrete's already pretty much, yeah, done it before many times, moved before many times, sold properties many times, put in electrical stuff many times, done driveways many times. But this one is my one, this is my big one main concern. So if you have any ideas, thoughts, let me know. I'd love to hear them, because this is, like I said, this is one of those things that we're trying to work on, because I think it's vitally important. Without that added population of coffee drinkers who are part of what you're doing and how you're doing it and wanting you to be successful because of who you are, it could be a tough road. So that's my main one concern.